The first thing I was looking at is figures. I'm a numbers kind of guy. But I know you've actually sourced over 30 deals.
I sacrificed everything to make this business work.
For the next 3 years, I'm gonna forget about going out, partying, clubbing, wasting money. I'm gonna forget about everything. I don't know if you know that, I was working at the cinema sweeping popcorn.
All you need is one provider. You find a council and you're leasing it or working with the council to do temporary accommodation. That's all it takes. They don't have a successful property business, but you want to start a property business, then you shouldn't really go cheap.
Yes everyone, I'm here today with Sean Davis. Sean is my business partner on the High Performance Academy. Sean has got over 90 rent-to-rent social housing deals. How many rooms in the portfolio?
So over 600 now.
Well, today we just want to help people that want to get started in property. So what would you say to them?
I would say, first things first, you need to educate yourself. You know what? We live in a world now where we have access to so many resources. There's literally no excuse. People that talk about how negative things are, the economy, cost of living, and yeah, all those things are happening, but you are in control of your own financial future. I think that's really key. So firstly, it's education. So YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, me and you've done quite a few different podcasts now, put a lot of content out there on different strategies, mainly temporary accommodation, which is the game changer. And then the other thing I would say is mentorship.
Yeah.
So for me, mentorship is key because you get access to someone who has done it before, someone who's further ahead of you, someone that you can use as a soundboard, someone that can give you the clarity to help you stop procrastination.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when I was starting in property.
Yeah.
And yeah, it did feel like a maze. But what I loved was I used to seek out people that are sharing it all.
Yeah.
But I realized there's not that many people that are actually sharing their actual journey and talking about numbers, sharing the deals that they're doing, the good sides and the bad. Because the first thing I was looking at is figures. I'm a numbers kind of guy. Like I wanted to get into property to build wealth and cash flow. So I really was seeking out information on what do the numbers look like. So that's why on both of our channels, we share it all.
Yeah.
So one thing what's helped me massively, I think people will learn from as well, is when they're starting out in property, they have to really be obsessed with studying. So enjoy the process of learning. And I would say that implementation is key as well. But it's like two factors. There's the learning side and then there's the implementation. You have to do both.
Yeah.
You can't just be geeking out on learning every night and then not taking the action. Yeah. That's important too.
You do find there's some serial learners where they're learning, but there's no action. So for me, it's like, even like with books, I like reading books. I love reading, but I came to a point where I stopped reading because I was like, okay, I need to implement more. Yeah. I need to ensure that I'm reading these books, but am I actually implementing the information? And what's the point of reading it? I'm not implementing it. Yeah. Putting it into practice.
Yeah, that's it. And I think as well, when it comes to getting started in property, determining the strategy. Yeah. Super important, because I see some people, they will try one strategy for a bit. Yeah. That doesn't work out. They jump straight onto another strategy. They give up too quick on a certain strategy. So I think they need to look at what are their goals and work backwards.
100%. Like delayed gratification is key. Yeah. When I think back to my old journey, do you know what? I didn't pay myself a penny from the business for the first 19 months. Wow. 19 months of putting blood, sweat and tears, every penny that I have invested into the business. Yeah. I wasn't seeing no return. Yeah. Because I was putting it all, but I knew eventually this business I'll be able to reap the rewards from it. Yeah.
Because I think nowadays, obviously, we've got the main strategies new people want to go for is rent-to-rent serviced accommodation. Yeah. Deal sourcing. And then obviously buying properties as well. Yeah. Rent-to-rent social housing, I don't think it's as mainstream. I don't think it's really as known as it should be on how effective it is as a strategy. Yeah. But for new people, they're looking at all these strategies and it's like, how can they determine what's best for them?
I would say that you need to do a lot of research into the different strategies and find out which one suits you best in terms of what your goals are. So for me personally, I chose supported accommodation. I chose temporary accommodation because it aligned with my goals. Yeah. I wanted to achieve financial freedom. I wanted to achieve financial security. And when I looked at all the different strategies, so I did like service accommodation, I did HMOs back in the day. And for me, the financial security was a big factor. Yeah. And temporary and supported accommodation offered me the utmost financial security. It was guaranteed rent, it's government backed. I found it easier to speak with landlords if I'm closing rent-to-rent deals because they also want to get into something that's government-backed and it gives you confidence in the strategy as well. Yeah. So all around, it just aligned with my goals. Plus, I really wanted to house people that need it most as well. Yeah. So I love the fact that I get to make a genuine impact, and you know, it's the footprint that I'm leaving. So I love it. What about yourself?
Well, what I would say to the people that are trying to choose is that they need to look at their goals and work backwards. So like a lot of people say they want to, you know, make passive income, but then they're trying to be a deal sourcer. And I'm like, that to me doesn't really make sense. It's much harder to systemize a deal sourcing business, you know, than it is to do social housing, for example. Because like with me, with my social housing properties, once I lease it to the provider, it's literally hands off. So yeah, I can be in Dubai. And not worrying and stressing, because in that lease they have to cover all of the bills, all of the maintenance. So that for me is the premium strategy for myself, because it gives me that peace of mind. I can relax, I can be anywhere in the world and I'm still getting paid. But for other people, I think they should look at their goals first. So, you know, deal sourcing, to me, I think it is a hard strategy, but a lot of people push it as the best one to start with. But I think when you're starting out, you don't really know what a deal is. You've not got enough experience to be finding a lot of deals, packaging them, and you don't know the investors as well. So I don't think it's a good one to start with. I think, for example, right now, me and you both being 7 years in, if we started property sourcing right now, we would kill it. But I know you've actually sourced over 30 deals. You know, I've sourced probably about 5 or 6 in my career, because I never really focused on it. What was your experience with property sourcing, and like talk to me about that?
You know what, I did it because I had to. I did it in COVID when the service accommodation was down, and to be honest, I didn't really like it because I didn't like the fact that I had to, number one, I had to constantly chasing that next deal. There's no financial security in there. And then also as well, you work with an investor, which is great, but then you get one deal out of the investor. As opposed to social housing, I'm getting passive income. Even if, you know, if I was to go back to deal sourcing, I wouldn't personally source to private investors. I would source to social housing organizations, because again, I know that I can get much more deals out of that than rather than working with one.
And obviously we teach our students how to do that. When it comes to, you know, you've got a social housing provider, you know their rates, you know the areas that they want. Say if you find an investor, they might pay, say, £4,000 or £5,000 for a hands-off service for them for a fully packaged deal, like a rent-to-rent social housing deal. Or maybe they just want a provider for one of the buy-to-lets. You can make a sourcing fee that way. And like we've got a student, for example, Kurt. He kind of focused in on that strategy. He's selling a lot of deals. He told me last week, the other week, he made like 10 grand in sourcing fees from Dubai. I linked up with him in Dubai. He's living in Dubai full time. He was one of our students. So.
And that's the game changer, because you can find one investor, which is obviously the social housing provider, and be making like lots of money from doing that, selling multiple deals, as opposed to like finding one private investor, and then you've got to look for the BRR deal, make sure it stacks, go through all the hurdles. Where in that time I could source like 3 or 4, you know, rent to social housing deals.
For me, with the sourcing side, I just always had it as a secondary strategy. So I'll be finding deals to buy with myself and with my JV partners. Anyone that I didn't want to buy myself, maybe like, it was good, but it wasn't amazing, but to source it on for a sourcing fee.
That makes sense.
So that's what I kind of did. So yeah, that's going to be good for people to kind of understand. But I think as well, when people are getting started in property, I think that obsession and like maybe put their social life on hold. Now, I know that sounds a bit weird, but that's what I did.
100%. That's needed. I don't think that's weird, you know. I think that is essential. Because for me, it comes down to how bad do you really want it. Like, you're not going to achieve it if you're not making sacrifices. So if you always did what you always did, you're always going to get what you always got. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like something has to give, something has to change. I know you're the same as well. For me, when I first started, man, like I sacrificed everything to make this business work. I was willing to do whatever it takes. And I think unless you have that mindset, I think it's very, very hard. And also as well, I would even argue and say it's easy to get lucky, because we've been in this game now, what, 14 years combined, You can even get lucky arguably for a year, but you can't get lucky year after year after year after year. It comes down to grit, determination, resilience, and also sacrifices, like getting rid of your social life for a small period of time, because everything's seasonal at the end of the day, isn't it?
I can just remember saying to myself, like promising to myself that for the next 3 years, I'm going to forget about relationships, I'm going to forget about traveling, I'm going to forget about my social life, going out, partying, clubbing, wasting money. I'm gonna forget about everything, and I'm literally just gonna lock in and focus
100%.
on my business, my property business.
100%.
And as well, I think one thing might be useful for people is like, your relationships are so crucial to your success.
Oh, 100%. Man.
So like, I can remember before I started LN Capital 7 years ago, I was in a relationship, and I feel like that person wasn't right for me. As soon as I exited that relationship, I started LN Capital, I had peace of mind, and my growth was like this.
Yeah.
And I think that just shows you that when you're around the wrong people, they will hold you back. So I think like most of our listeners are men. So we have like 95% men that watch this channel. So I think if you've got a girlfriend what's like negative, lock it off. Seriously, because you need to be around positive people. Your friends, your missus, they have to be positive and like pushing you to do better, not thinking, oh, why would you do that? Because that was the things I used to get. Why would you do that? Like, that's not gonna work.
I've even had friends before that I've had like partners, and it's like they have to lie about working.
Oh, I would hate that.
Literally have to lie about working because their missus will kick off. Oh, you're working too much and you're doing this, you're doing that.
Yeah.
For me, the way I see it is like, you know, if you've got a partner, you should be doing it for you and your partner, and you should be trying to create a life so that you can live a better life, so you can have more time to spend. So for me, if you've got a partner and that partner can't see the vision and you sacrificing some time so that you can build a future that can last forever, a lifetime of freedom, because I prefer that to sacrifice a couple of years, you stick by me, and then we can live a lifetime of freedom. If someone can't understand that, then for me, like, that deserves to be locked. That's a red flag.
100%.
Basically. It's a red flag.
Yeah, you know what's happened to me before? I was in a relationship before I started LN Capital, and I was working in a call center full time, and the girl said to me that I was with, she was like, I visioned my life being more than being with someone that works in a call center. And you know what I said to her? I laughed and I was like, tell me that in 5 years. So come back in 5 years and tell me the same thing.
Yeah.
And I laughed in her face. And honestly, it fires me up. I think there's a lot of painful moments in your life that you use for fuel.
100%. Yeah.
So, you know, there might be some key things that have happened in early years, maybe your teenage years, maybe your early 20s. And it fires you up and you can use it. It kind of gives you a chip on your shoulder. For me, that's where my motivation comes from. Yeah. Where did your motivation come from, Sean? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. I know what it's like to be broke, man. Like I remember living in a flat, you know, and things were tough, man. Like I had 3 jobs, and I used to do. I don't think I've ever told you this before, but like I used to deliver pizza. I used to be a pizza delivery driver, so I used to work. Yeah.
I didn't even know, bro.
Yeah. So I used to work in retail, and then I used to deliver pizza. And then I also used to do that.
Sorry, bro, it's funny. That's the title of this video, bro. Pizza delivery, man. To 90+ deals.
I used to work in a club as well, like, but it's like club promoting.
Oh, I swear.
Yeah.
What, so give them the leaflets and that?
Give them the leaflets, trying to get people to
In Birmingham?
Wolverhampton.
Oh, not even in Brom.
Honestly, it was a hard life, man. So I know what it's like. I had 3 jobs and it was very daunting. Like to the point where sometimes, imagine, I would work 9 to 5, then I'd do the pizza delivery 6 till 10, and then 11 till 3 a.m. I would go and work at that bar. I was doing that for about a good year and a half because that's the only way I could make ends meet to pay the flat rent, which was just a little council flat. Yeah. And then also I just had Ty at the time. Yeah. So I had to do what I need to do. Yeah. I know what it's like to be broke, and I just said to myself, you know what? I'll never be in a position again in my life where I'm in that position where I'm that broke. Because you know what? Like for me personally anyway, it made me feel less of a man because I'm like, I've got a son and I can't even like afford to give my son what he wants. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I didn't want to put myself in that position. So ever since then, I did that and I thought to myself, this is a short-term thing. This is seasonal. Like I was financially broke, but the thing with me, my mindset was never broke. So I always knew that I'd get myself out. I always knew that I'd make it through. Yeah, and people need that message, Sean. Like, you know, the bad things that happen to people in their lives, they can use that. Anyone watching that's, you know, they don't have enough money right now. There's been moments where you needed to buy something, you just couldn't buy it. Like, we've both been there. I used to work in a cinema
I don't know if you know that. I was working in the cinema sweeping popcorn.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
I worked with disabled people for a long time as a support worker.
Yeah.
Worked in a school as a TA.
Wow.
I've done a lot of jobs, a lot of jobs, and so we've both been there, and now we both run big portfolios. So, you know,
multi-7-figure businesses, and I think it's really important for the viewers to understand this, because often you can see people on YouTube, and even when I do my public speaking engagements, I always like to mention the past, because it's easier to look at me and you now and where we are now, and actually, if there's not context, sometimes it can almost seem like it's out of reach, because it's easy for people to think, oh well, maybe they had a handout, maybe they got some money given to them, or maybe something happened, some miracle, and it's landing on their feet. And actually, no, that's not been that. We started from the gutter, we started from minus, we started from debt, and literally we had to work our way up. And it's like motivation for the viewers that, do you know what? You can do it too. There's no reason why you can't do it.
100%. Hopefully people get that message. Like, if you're going through it right now, just keep pushing. You will get there. You will be able to leave your job, be full-time in property, but it does take time. I think you have to have the realistic expectations. Guys, this video is sponsored by Mortgage Style. If you need a mortgage broker, I can fully recommend them. They're the best in the game. I've had 5 brokers tell me no, and Mortgage Style tell me yes. Link is in the description. Obviously, on the buying side, when you're getting started in property, if you do decide to go down the buying side, it does take a long time. So like with me, it took me, Sean, about 4.5 years to get to that 10K per month profit mark. So where my profit in my portfolio was around 10K a month. It took about 4.5 years. But obviously it was a snowball. So for the first year, it was very slow, because I was buying like 1 a year, then 2 a year, then 3, then, okay, now in my 4th year, I was buying like 7 or 8 in the same year. So it's a snowball effect with the buying side. With the rent to rent side, what is a realistic amount of time for someone to start earning, say, £3,000 per month?
I'd say like 6 months,
6 months,
Now, this is the game changer with the rent to social housing strategy. Once you find one provider, and by the way, there are thousands of providers out there. All you need is one provider. One provider, you can do a back-to-back lease with them, or you find a council and you're leasing it or working with the council to do temporary accommodation. That's all it takes. And once you understand their goals, you understand their criteria, and exactly what they're looking for, you're good to go from there.
But I know for some people it has been much quicker. You know, for example, Kurt got a lot of deals done very early on. And we've had other people too that have like closed the deal within the 3rd week. They're closing deals.
Lots of people. You've got Ed, he was making £9,500 within 5.5 months, which is crazy.
Wait, let me just deep that. That is wild.
And you got to think as well, with Ed, he had no property experience, no entrepreneurial experience. He was literally learning and doing this from scratch. So it shows like if someone with 0 entrepreneurial skills and property experience can do that, then you know what, anyone can do it. And you know what, Ed will tell you himself. Ed, in terms of sales, he's not a natural salesperson. Like he's even told me that himself. He's not. So it's not like he had the gift of the gab, and he was very reserved. And yet, even still, he was able to go out there and make it happen. And for me, it all comes down to like, how badly do you really want it? Like, do you really want it, or are you going to have a victim mentality and give excuses? Because for me, I always say you're either going to have results or excuses, not both. So you have to choose which one you're going to have.
People just remind themselves of that. Like, it's easy to slip back into a bad mindset. And I think it's very normal, because like, say for me, for example, I can slip into that negative thinking, but what I do is I just pull myself back out of it. And I constantly remind myself, Luigi, focus on what you want rather than what you don't want.
100%.
People focus on your goals, write them down. I'd say for me personally, I do yearly goals. So I'll write them in the past tense. So I put 1st of Jan 2026. My portfolio looks like this, I earn this, I'm my happiest, I'm my healthiest, I'm in my best shape of my life, stuff like that. Write in the past tense, it's like a law of attraction technique. What actionable tips would you give people to make sure they're on track with their goals?
You need to obviously write down your goals and have a vision and understand it. I think the people you hang around with is very important. You need to tell people what your goals are and ensure that you've got people that can hold you accountable. Because like you said, like, we all sleep, we're human. It's very easy to fall off. Something can happen, something in your personal life can happen, and you can just fall off like that. This is why you need to ensure you've got a great network of people. And when I mean people, I mean, you need to hang around with people. This is probably one of the biggest mistakes I see people doing. You've got to start hanging around with people that are doing what you want to do. So don't get me wrong, you love your parents, you love your family, but if they're not doing what you want to do, if they don't have a successful property business, but you want to start a property business, then you shouldn't really go to your parents for property advice. Continue on to for life advice, great, they've got life experience, but in terms of how to run a successful property business, you're getting your advice from the wrong person. You want to be surrounding yourself with people like that. So like when you come across obstacles and challenges, guess what? Someone that is above you in terms of what they've achieved and also the experience that they have, they would have most likely gone through the trials and tribulations that you're going through. They can correctly advise you on how you can get through that too. So I think that's really key. And the second thing I would say as well is monitor yourself. Like one of the things that I do a lot when I'm really in the zone and I know that I'm working against tight deadlines, I hold myself to the utmost account. And how I do that is by screwing myself. So one of the things that I like to do, it's a little prop, but it works like crazy. And it's a sand timer. So I have a sand timer and I will literally set it for half an hour. And I will literally just work. And after that hour, I will literally score myself out of 10. Was I productive? Whereas if you're not reviewing yourself, how do you know you're doing well? You can easily go a week and you haven't achieved anything. And then the third thing I would say is you need to ensure that you're doing income generating tasks. That's another thing that I see a lot of newbies struggle with, is to spend too many times doing things that are not actually moving the needle. At the start of the day, what am I going to do today to move the needle in my business? Like if you're spending all day doing admin, you're spending all day doing your website or just doing things that are actually not pushing the business forward. So that's really important. Focus your day on doing income generating tasks and actually outsource the rest.
So get better at delegating tasks.
100%.
So I think that is great. And I think one pushback people might say is, right, well, when I'm starting out, I don't have the money to delegate. But the thing is, as you like to say a lot, when you lack resources, that's when you become resourceful.
100%.
I'm stealing your line there, bro. But no, it's so true, because I can remember my first hire was an admin staff, because I realized, I looked at myself, I'm very honest with myself, I said, right, what's my weak points, what's my strengths? My strengths is building relationships with investors, finding deals, stacking up deals, analyzing deals, and being on site and pushing the business forward. My weak point, and it's still my weak point, is admin. Got dyslexia, struggle with the written side of stuff. So that was my first hire, was an admin staff. And then throughout the years, I've always had an admin person on hand. So you can get cheap staff.
And it's not expensive. Like you can get a VA from the Philippines for like $3 an hour.
So a VA, virtual assistant, basically it's like a personal assistant that you can delegate tasks to them. When we're training and mentoring our students, we would recommend them to get a VA, especially if they're doing the rent-to-rent side.
100%.
Why is that? Why is that so important?
Because if you want to scale quickly, you can't cover the scope by yourself. So for instance, looking at the success of the students, the ones that have achieved the most success in the quickest time frame are the ones that are dedicated, the ones that have got a full-time virtual assistant. Because as I said to you earlier, like there are literally thousands of providers out there. But you haven't got the time frame in order to like contact all these providers. Now, don't forget as well, you're not going to call these providers and get through to them straight away. Sometimes it might take 3 or 4, even 5 points of contact before you get a response, because these people are really busy and the councils are really busy. The councils are understaffed. So when you look at that, that might be like, you're talking thousands of points of contact, and sometimes you can get lucky and you can call your first 10 providers and get a response.
Got someone like that,
But not only get a response, you've got someone who actually wants to scale, someone that you have a synergy with, that you can do business with. But sometimes it might take a lot longer. And that process is just much quicker when you've got a virtual assistant doing it. But also as well, this is the thing that a lot of people struggle with when they first start, is like, you're now a CEO of your business. So when you've got a 9 to 5, you're being leveraged. But now you're a CEO, you're the person that's now leveraging. And I think that is it's a very crucial
mindset.
It's a very crucial mindset.
And you know what? I see myself sometimes, I slip back into the trying to do everything myself. And I'm like, I want to do it myself. Some things I enjoy, but I know I should delegate, because there's people that are better than that task than me. So I do need to make sure I'm delegating. This is constantly reminding myself of that. So like, even for example, video editing, oh no, I shouldn't have said that. Now we're going to get a load of messages on Instagram. So a lot of time I'll be trying to do too much myself. I should not be editing videos at this point in my career.
100%.
And I'm not even that good at it. So I need to get other people to do it. So yeah, other things that people can outsource. Obviously, there's admin. You know, there's social media, which, you know what, on social media, people should be documenting their journey.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like, I almost wish that Steve Jobs and Warren Buffett had a YouTube channel. You know? And like, they've documented their whole journey.
Yeah,
I would love to watch that.
Yeah,
the amount of gems that you would pick up from seeing their vlogs.
100%.
Or their how-to videos. Like, imagine a how-to video from Warren Buffett, how to buy stocks, how to choose stocks. Man, I'll be locked in.
The crazy thing is, we've got a long way to go.
Oh,
in terms of our ambition and our goals, you know what, we've got just a long road ahead, so it's great. Like, we'll look back at these videos, like, in 5 years' time, I think, wow, you know, I'm glad that we did do it.
Yeah.
And for me, it's all about just documenting it and sharing as much gems as we can, because here's the thing, like, you know, we're still learning ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we're still growing.
100%.
And we're still making mistakes, and that will never stop. But for me, it's like people learn from, like, when you make this mistake that I made, this is what I did to overcome it.
100%. That's it. And I think, like, for new people that are getting started in property, they should definitely document everything. It doesn't mean they have to post it right away, but just film it. You want to have that footage there.
Yeah.
Keep it, store it, and eventually open your channel when you start getting things moving.
Yeah.
Do Instagram and just keep it authentic, keep it real, keep 100%. Like, we try and share as much as we physically can. Some stuff people need to know that we can't share because it will negatively affect our business.
Yeah.
It's not like we're not being transparent. So obviously when you're working with councils, you know, you have to be careful. You can't be, for example, with your business model, you are a social housing provider.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain things that if you said online, it would negatively affect your business. You can't.
100%.
But obviously with our mentees, we share it all.
Yeah.
Because we're not on camera, like we're,
different vibe.
It's a different environment, yeah.
Yeah.
I know you're coming out to Dubai.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm moving to Dubai now.
So, like, what is the actual plan? What's the vision with Dubai, and why are you moving there?
To be honest with you, I love Dubai. Like, my gut feeling, I'm very in tune with myself. My gut feeling is leading me there. When I'm in Dubai, I feel like I'm at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
I'm around wealth. I'm around serious people. And like, when I'm in the UK, I don't feel that same feeling. So I like it when I'm feeling like the smallest fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
I like that. So that's the main reason. Obviously tax purposes, that's a massive reason. And the lifestyle out there is great. The restaurants, the gyms, the weather. There's just a lot of benefits for me living there.
There's a lot, yeah.
All my properties now, they pay me every single month. Out of the 30 properties, only 2 of them I'm still renovating. Once they're let out, they'll be paying me as well. So I have that kind of income every month from that. And there's other businesses I've got too, so.
I can definitely see why you're doing it. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You know, there are not many benefits. If you've got a portfolio that's paying you passively, there's actually no reason for you to be in the UK, because there's much better and bigger opportunities. And then, you know, it's what we preach. We preach about getting to bigger rooms, you know, expanding your network, seeking more opportunities.
Pushing yourself.
Getting yourself out of your comfort zone. Like, in Nottingham, you're in your comfort zone right now. Whereas now you're pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, different environment. And the connections that you're going to meet and then make, it's going to be the game changer.
Yeah, so. But even like the mindset, because like in Dubai, everyone's open for business.
Yeah.
Like, people are very wanting to do deals with you. They want to cut deals with you.
Yeah.
But as well, I've gone to Dubai and I've stopped taking nicotine. I've stopped vaping. So it's like, these things here, something's happening.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm just taking action on it.
Yeah, I watched a video actually on someone that's moved to Dubai, and one of the things that he was saying is like, everyone's always open to do business. So it's like, he said that he met a connection, and this like Friday night at like 8:30 p.m. And like, if that was in the UK, you'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Like in a meeting, like you'd be like, oh yeah, let's arrange a meeting for like sometime next week during working business hours. But he was like, he met this connection. It's just like, you know, multi-decker millionaire. And he was like, yeah, you know what, let's meet now. Let's do it right now. Like, whereas that sort of vibe, you wouldn't get that in the UK. But everyone is just on it. Everyone's open to do business, and everyone's a bit more like, they're just more extroverted.
Yeah, that's the thing. But yeah, Sean, thanks for jumping on today, man. Really appreciate it. And I'm sure you'll be flying out, come to Dubai. I'll be coming down here as well. So we're still going to be, I'm going to do meetups as well for the community. So we're going to be hosting some meetups in person, catch up with you know, our students, and just enjoy life.
Yeah, man.
Let's keep enjoying the process no matter where you're at right now in your property journey. Do not give up. It's going to be the best thing you've ever done. Stick at it, persevere. Yeah, and just don't quit, guys. Sean, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.